रुक जाए थोड़ा सा।
अच्छा, मुझे को होस्ट बना दे।
बना दिया आपको?
अच्छा, नहीं मुझे नहीं अलाउ कर रहा। होस्ट डिसेबल पार्टिसिपेंट स्क्रीन शेयरिंग।
ओके, मैं रुक जाए थोड़ा सा।
अच्छा, मुझे को होस्ट बना दे।
बना दिया आपको?
अच्छा, नहीं मुझे नहीं अलाउ कर रहा। होस्ट डिसेबल पार्टिसिपेंट स्क्रीन शेयरिंग।
ओके, मैं रुक जाए थोड़ा सा।
बना दे।
बना
होस्ट डिसेबल पार्टिसिपेंट स्क्रीन शेयरिंग।
बिस्मिल्लाह करें।
सिस्टर तौकीर, ये जो आपकी स्क्रीन पे सबकी पिक्चर्स हैं, इनको सिर्फ होस्ट की पिक्चर पे लगा दें ताकि सबको।
कैसे करना?
ये जो ऊपर आइकॉन्स है ना, सिंगल बार, डबल बार, थिक बार और डबल बार, फिर बहुत सारे गैलरी व्यू है, तो ये सेकंड वन ऑन द लेफ्ट को आप क्लिक करें जो ऊपर बार्स बने हुए हैं।
डबल बार जो है
जी, ये जो हमारी पिक्चर्स की स्क्रीन है ना जूम की, जहाँ पे पार्टिसिपेंट्स की मेरी पिक्चर है और बाकी पार्टिसिपेंट्स के नाम्स हैं साइड पे।
ठीक है।
मुझे नजर नहीं आएगा, ये सिर्फ आपकी स्क्रीन पे यूट्यूब पे नजर आएगा।
हम लाइव हैं, शुरू करें।
अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मदिन व आलि मुहम्मद व अज्जिल फरजहुम। अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम। बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। रब्बि ज़िदनी इल्मा फहमा। रब्बि इश्रह ली सदरी व यस्सिर ली अमरी वहलुल उक़दतम मिन लिसानी यफ़क़हू क़ौली। अल्लाहुम्मा कुल्लि वलिय्यिकल हुज्जत इब्निल हसन सलवातुका अलैहि व अला في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. So we started doing our Tajweed lessons yesterday. We are not covering everything from the beginning, the basics. I'm assuming knowledge of recitation, and we're just building up to improve the recitation of the Holy Quran. So yesterday we did the huruf al-halqiyya, the six throat. And today we are going to do the letters of elevation, the Tafkheem, the Isti'la letters, and the letters of Tarqeeq, the letters of lowness. Now, when we say Sifat al-Huruf, and we say the of the letters, some letters in the Arabic language, and there is only 7 of them, that are pronounced in an elevated, in an Isti'la way. And that means that we raised our tongue to the roof and pronounce these letters in a heavy way. When they combine, when these letters combine with other letters, you will clearly notice that they, or you will have to recite them in a heavy way. So huruf al-isti'la, which are 7, have to be recited in a heavy way when they are combined with other letters, in other words. The rest of the letters, all of them, if you notice, are letters of tarqeeq, are letters of lowness. So in letters of lowness, your tongue is lowered to the floor of your mouth, and that gives a soft and light pronunciation to these letters. There are only 2 letters that are an exception, the letter lam and the letter ra. They have their own rules, and they sometimes can be read in an elevated way, in a tafkheem way, and they can sometimes be read in a tarqiq, light and a low way. We will do this rule tomorrow, inshallah. So you must remember the 7 letters of isti'la, the heavy, elevated. Everything else is light apart from the ra and the lam. The 7 heavy letters are the letter kha, and you notice that I kind of have a rounder mouth, and I am reading them with a raised tongue. Ghain, sad, dad, ta, dha, and qaf. So if we go to the examples, the first word, the ghain, is one of the elevated letters. The waw is one of the tarqiq, the low letters, the light letters. And then the last word is the sheen. So if I say ghawash and I lower my tongue for the letter ghain, I've read it wrong. It's an elevated letter, so I have to raise my tongue and say ghawash, 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 khawf, ashab. I didn't read ashab properly and I said ashab, ashab. I've made it into the letter seen. So I have to raise my tongue and say ashab, ashab, fadl, fadl. This is a difficult one. The next one is qalu. So if I say kalu, kalu, pronounce the qaf in a heavy elevated way, then I have changed that to the letter kaf, which if you notice is on the right side of your screen. It's a tarqiq letter. It's a low letter, a light letter. So qalu will be right. So in the next letter, ayn is one of the tarqiq letters, and then the dha is one of the tafkheem letters. So we have to switch from light sound to the heavy sound. But ayn is a sharp sound from the middle of our throat, like we remember we did that yesterday. So Sister Zahida, would you like to say the next letter? Which incidentally, the word that we use in our salah every single day. Sister Zahida?
عظيم.
Ahsanti. Now the next word, again, I'd like Sister Zahida if I just explain it. The alif fatha, which is the hamza. When alif has any vowels on it, is the letter hamza. So a will be the light letter. So if I say wa I'm wrong because a is a light letter, but the ta will be the heavy letter. So Sister Zahida, please recite the next one.
وأمطرنا.
Ahsanti, mashallah. Okay, so here are some more examples. Now, would somebody else like to volunteer? I've put the bar of the 7 heavy letters up there. So while you're reading, you have to that you are pronouncing this one, the heavy letters as heavy, and everything else you have to lower your tongue and pronounce it in a light way. So would anybody else like to volunteer for reading the first sentence? Okay. Sorry.
Assalamualaikum. Can I?
Alaikum salam. Of course you can. Please go ahead.
I'll try. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. قالوا بل جئناك بما كانوا فيه يمترون.
Ahsanti, barakallahu feek. So for today's lesson, you've applied everything correctly. Obviously, we haven't done the rule of the letter ra. So that ra would be read in a heavy way because there is a rule. Yamtarun. Explain that tomorrow, inshallah. Ahsanti. So the next one, would anybody else like to have a go at the next one?
Assalamualaikum. Can I try?
Of course you can. Please go ahead.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال فما حتبكم أيها المرسلون.
Santi, so I've noticed few things. So your qaf was perfect. It was excellent. Qala. But I noticed when you said a'udhu, you said a'uzu. Now we haven't done the makhraj dal, but we will do it when we do the similar sounding letters, inshallah, which is the day after tomorrow. So dal is not a za. In Urdu language and in Farsi language, zal and za and dha and dad are given similar sounds, and they're all pronounced whilst reading as za. But in the Arabic language, the letter dal, to place your tongue, touching your top teeth, and you have to say dal. So it's a'udhu. Maybe you can practice that today, and before we even do the lesson, I'm sure you'll manage to correct that. So a'udhu. Now you said qala perfectly. Fama. Now you said khatbukum. So the kha sounded very light. So can you try again and elevate the kha? Look, the kha is on the heavy letters bar. So kha and ta are both heavy. Khatbukum. Elevate your tongue. Lift it up towards the roof of your mouth. Khatbukum. Try it again.
خطبكم.
أحسنتي. Much better. أيها المرسلون. أحسنتي. Well done. So anyone else would like to have a go at the next one? Thank you for all those who are participating. It's lovely to hear your voices.
Shall I?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين.
Santi, thank you. So a few notices here. So your Rahman and Rahim was perfect. I loved how you did the ha nicely from the throat. وَيَقُولُونَ was good. So your qaf makhraj was excellent. Now, in the next word, you said mata. So you elevated the ta. But is the ta in the above bar of the 7 heavy letters? Is it there? The ta? The ta is not there. Look, it's not there. So for the ta, you have to lower your tongue towards the bottom part of your mouth. So mata, mim and ta are both light. Mata, وَيَقُولُونَ مَتَى. Then ha as well is not one of the 7 heavy letters. I would say hada. Now that's the letter dal after this letter dal, the one after the ha here. This is the same one that's in the word a'udhu. Not a za. Ra's brother is za, and that's the same sound as English, as z. But this zal doesn't exist in English. So this is the one in a'udhu, and this is the one that has to be read with the tip of your tongue, touching your top teeth, and you say, هذا الوعد. Please, would you like to try again? وَيَقُولُونَ مَتَى هَذَا الْوَعْدُ.
ويقولون متى هذا الوعد
Carry on.
إن كنتم صادقين.
Okay, so the kaf is also a light letter. Your sad was perfect. Excellent. And qaf was perfect on the last word. In kuntum, kaf, lower it. Because it's not one of the 7 heavy letters. In kuntum sadiqeen. Your turn.
إن كنتم صادقين.
Santi, mashallah. Thank you very much for all those who participated. Thank you. So now we'll go back to Surah Al-Fatiha, because I think every time we learn the rules, we should revise Surah Al-Fatiha and ensure that we are reciting it in a perfect way and correct our salah. So remember yesterday's throat letters and today's heavy elevated letters. So on the last line, you can see we have a ghain, we have a dad, we have another dad. These are all heavy letters. And we have on line number 5, اهدنا الصراط المستقيم, we have a sad, which is a heavy letter, a ta, which is a heavy letter, a qaf, which is a heavy letter. So we need to watch today in Surah Al-Fatiha for the throat letters that we did yesterday and for the 7 heavy elevated letters. So I will recite, and I would like you all to recite after me at home. Bismillah. So B is one of the lower letters, Tarqeeq letters. So we have to lower our tongue and say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. You read at home. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. The ayn is from the throat. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. So for the ha, you let the air come through from the middle of your throat. Maliki Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط. Now these are the heavy letters. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير. Elevate your tongue for the ghain. Not غير, not غير. غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Does Does anybody have any questions before we move on? Is everybody happy? Okay. So if you remember yesterday, we started connecting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the 99 names of Allah. Quick recap. We did Ar-Rahman, and Ar-Rahman is basically the most merciful, the compassionate, the kind, the gracious. And we said that it comes from the root word Raham, which is the womb of the mother. And we have to think just like how the mother shows mercy to the unborn child in her womb, and all his needs are taken care of there. The baby is protected, surrounded and wrapped in care and love. If a problem arises, the mother takes care of it. The child doesn't have to worry in the womb of the mother. The mother takes all the worry. The child is trouble and hassle free. The mother is the one that shows all the compassion and the mercy. So same way Allah's Rahmaniyat is manifests itself, and it engulfs everyone. And it's a love that's permanent, and it's shown to all the creatures. And then we said that Rahim is also comes out from the same root. But Rahim is different to Rahman in the sense that the mercy of Allah here is targeted towards the believers, and especially it will engulf them in the hereafter, in the afterlife. And we said the example of the Rahmani of Rahman, of Allah being Rahman, is the same as the sun. It benefits everybody. It doesn't matter who it is. But if we, for example, wanted to enjoy the moonlight or the moon, we have to come out of the house and make an effort to go out there to see the moon and enjoy it. So that's why the believers get more the special mercy of Allah, because they themselves turn themselves towards Allah, and hence become capable of receiving the mercy of Allah, because they themselves turn themselves towards Allah. So they receive the mercy of Allah. Today we're going to connect to Allah through the name Al-Malik. And Al-Malik, the king, the supreme, the authority, the true owner. Allah is a true and permanent owner and authority and the king of everything. Everything belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he chooses to whom give temporary authority. Human beings have been given temporary authority over the planet, for example, that we live in, the animals, the environment. So we need to reflect and think whether we are acting justly towards these things that Allah has made us temporary owners of, because the ultimate and true owner is Allah, and we will be accountable over the things that we have temporarily been made owners upon. The other name that we are going to connect to Allah through today is Al-Quddus, and Al-Quddus means the most holy, pure, and the most perfect. Allah is holy and pure and perfect and far from the imperfections of the world. And when we think of him, we are filled with awe because he is so perfect. And similarly, if we reflect and we think, Allah's creation is also perfect. So when we've been given free will, we are the ones who make the world imperfect. Allah created everything in perfection, just like he is perfect. And when we use our free will in the correct way, that we make everything around us perfect. Now, the way that we can change imperfections into perfections is by changing our niyyah. If our intention and our niyyah is pure, then we will be able to have a positive impact on the world. So,
no, I'm going to sort it out now.
So that's the name, the 99 names of Allah that we will cover today, and inshallah we will cover 2 more tomorrow. So thank you very much for joining us in today's session, and we will see you inshallah tomorrow.
Let my phone charge, please.